So in this entry, I am going to focus on myself from one of my more recent visits, kind of like my role in the classroom and how I'm connecting with students and the different teacher-like behaviors that I'm implementing within my work. This hasn't been a conscious thing that I've been focusing on throughout all my time at Agape, and every session that I'm there, I really try to focus on how I can improve myself and how I can improve students' interactions with me. So really my role, and it might have changed from my earlier video logs, but I feel like my role is more taking a support role as opposed to administrative role. And I found myself really diving deeper with students and really trying to connect with students, and I'm learning more and more about their babies, and I'm learning more and more about their lives, and I'm also gaining a very good connection with Shannon, which is awesome because I think she's a great mentor, and I would love to have a sort of has her as a mentor to guide me through my experiences with teaching. So really just looking at these, answering the questions, what my role is in the classroom, though this seems open-ended and did seem really open-ended earlier, I feel now my role has been more defined as someone who assists in an assistant, kind of like a sidekick, but also I feel like my role is more of a friend, kind of, and that might sound super unprofessional, and that's not my goal at all. Of course, I'm helping with schoolwork, and I'm helping with other things, but I've really made it a priority in my time there to connect with these girls on a different level, because a huge foundation of this school and how a lot of these girls get by is by having these deeper rooted connections and by having this everlasting support system. And I mean, I do help them with school, and I really do try to focus on school the whole time and whatnot, but by having Shannon as a mentor for this, I realized how there's a good balance between administrative teacher role and friend role and influencer and whatnot. Some of the tasks I have at the school site are very similar to before. Help students one-on-one, I clean up the classroom, I make rounds, I'll, if I see a student struggling or if someone's raising their hand and Shannon's working with someone else, I'll go and see if I can help them out. I still do struggle in the classroom with math being a barrier between us. I really would like for them to think that I am a helpful aid and I'm not just there to fill up space. And by me having problems with math, that can kind of get in the way. I'm being totally harsh on myself. I'm not the worst. I can kind of play those teacher cards and being well, what do you think? Do you have your notes? What does this look like? How can we fix this part? Instead of just handing them the answer and knowing everything. So that kind of relates to kind of teacher-like activities and behaviors that I'm implementing. I'm definitely using teacher language that, to be honest, kind of drove me nuts when I was in high school or in school myself, when it was more one-on-one work with for the teacher, having them talk about, well, what do you think you did wrong here? Why do you think this is wrong? Why aren't you getting the answers? What'd you do in this step, and how can you fix this? Guiding them without giving them the exact answer. And I'm doing this more, one, because I might not know the answer, truly might not know the answer, and two, because I'm really trying to work on these engagement skills where I'm giving them the steps and I'm giving them the tools to do it for themselves, because if they learn to do it for themselves, that's really how you learn. And being a student and looking at my student life, that's how I learn. Once I'm given enough proper tools to do it myself, that's when it really gets engraved in my brain instead of just someone handing me the answer. So I really am trying to do that. I really like to sit down with the students and get to their level so I don't feel like I'm above them. So that's something that I'm like doing, and I'm doing the whole thing where like I take their pencil and I'm like, here, try this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming my high school teachers, which is hilarious. And that really feels though like it's fitting. I really feel like I'm not only acting as a mentor for these students, but I'm giving them guidance and showing them that like they can do it. They are in the position to do it. I'm not just doing it for them. I'm not just here to give them answers or tell them all the answers, because I don't have all the answers. And this can really translate into life. That's something that I try to work on in my teaching. I try to give them tools that they can take to their life and translate to their life, instead of just giving them the answers. Because I'm sure that a lot of these girls have found out already, like, you're not going to get everything handed to you in life. You're not going to get the answers. And if anyone were to understand that, it would be these girls that I'm working with. I still do have anxieties, with that being said, about my teaching styles. Sometimes I'll just kind of be like, I don't know, and like feel inferior, and like because like I'm not in the position where I am in charge, or I kind of feel like I'm being assessed all the time. And it's not Shannon that's doing that. It's kind of just like within my head. Like I feel like, oh, if I can prove to these students that like I am a good teacher, if I can prove to Shannon that like I can be a good aide, a teaching aide, that I like will fully be able to prove to myself that I can be a good teacher. And this might just be like anxieties about like becoming a teacher, but I just feel that it's hard to get out of my head that I'm like, oh, I'm doing this wrong, or I could have done this different. And I know it's all about like the growth and whatever. And so really just like growing from these moments that I'm like, oh shoot, that was dumb, or I could have explained that better, or that wasn't the best. Like sometimes I feel like I'm not getting through to these girls, like just taking a step back and knowing like to calm down, and that I'm not going to be the most perfect teacher person ever, and like right away. So that is something of like an anxiety that I still hold. I would like to see how it might be different in a field that I'm confident in. So in a field of like English or something. So yeah.